All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Everybody's got their lunch. Looks like we're getting settled down. My name's Erin Hunt. I'm the Executive Director of the Colorado River Valley Chamber of Commerce. Thank you all so much for being here today. Welcome to the 2026 State of the Community. Let's get this sucker kicked off. So for those of you who are here for your first time, welcome. And for those of you who make this annual tradition, welcome back. We're so glad to have you all. Before we get started, just a quick few notes to help everyone get settled in. You'll see the nomination sheets on your tables. Those are for our annual Chamber Awards, which we'll give out at our annual awards banquet this April. You'll see one paper copy on each table. And then you'll also see a few QR codes kind of scattered around. You can scan those and it'll have all of the criteria, and then you'll be able to submit that just right there on your phone or computer. These awards have been a part of the Chamber for decades, as most of you know. Many of those past recipients are sitting right next to you in the room today. So thank you all for setting a standard that we're all still measuring ourselves against. Next, let's just take a look at what to expect this afternoon. You'll see the full agenda in front of you, but I wanted to highlight a couple of things because history has told us that this matters to you. First, there will be a break, I promise. Second, after the program wraps up, we're going to we've intentionally left a few minutes for you guys to mingle, and we hope you'll take advantage of that. Before we get started, I want to extend a few sincere thank yous to our partners who made today possible. Thank you to our sponsors, Alpine Bank and Town of Silt, for their continued investment in this community. Thank you to Grand River Health for hosting us today. Everything looks absolutely stunning. We appreciate the food looks delicious. And thank you to Michael Churchill with Rifle TV, who helps us present and capture this event. Thank you for being here. And most importantly, thank you all for each of you for coming out today. We really appreciate it. All right, so to get us kicked off, I'd like to invite Larry Stewart from Alpine Bank to the podium, our title sponsor, to share a few welcoming remarks. Please join me in welcoming Larry.
All right, well, good morning, welcome. First off, thank you guys for being here. As Erin said, I also want to take a moment here and just give our staff a big round of applause. They've done a great job. So we have Ashley and Adrian who are trying to finally bring some food to their own table. And then Erin, if we could just give all three of them a round of applause, that'd be great. So for those of you that have been here the last couple years, you know that I've kind of been up here the one leading the show. And so Erin is our director this year. We promoted her in 2025, and we're excited to have her kind of lead in charge. So I told her, I said, this is all your show. So I'll get up and talk once. The rest is you. So other than that, I just want to say thank you guys again for coming. As always, we really appreciate the opportunity to sponsor this event. I've been sponsoring it for as long as I've been here. I find this event very useful, a lot of good information. It's always good to hear what stories Dave creates in Newcastle. Also, for those of you that don't know, I was going to give Grady a hard time today. He's the soon-to-be next mayor of Newcastle, but he said he couldn't make it today. Unfortunately, he had to work. So other than that, again, just thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. Looking forward to another great event.
All right, our first presenters up today. Let's have Fred Jarman, County Manager. Come on up. He's around. There you are. You're behind me.
Thanks, Erin. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you. Thanks to the Chamber for having Garfield County and all the municipalities here for this update. My name is Fred Jarman. I'm the County Manager, and we're very grateful to be here. We love this event every year, and I want to get started. This is kind of like speed dating. I got a lot of information that we're going to blow through very quickly. Hopefully it's useful and interesting for you. Garfield County has been really busy for a long time, and this year is no different than that. As I get started, I wanted to acknowledge Tom Jankowski, our chairman of the Board of County Commissioners, here with us today. So, hi, Tom. And I don't see Commissioner Sampson, although I thought he was coming. Commissioner Perry Will, who is our newest county commissioner, is in Washington, D.C. right now, slaving away, advocating for Garfield County, so he can't be here today. Where's my little clicker here? Okay, just a couple of baseline facts about the county. Some of you know this, but we are, of course, represented by the 3 elected officials Garfield County has, the commissioners, as well as other county elected officials. We are 3,000 square miles big. We're the 4th largest county in the state. 2/3 of our county is public lands, basically split between the BLM and the Forest Service, so that leaves only 1,000 square miles of public land, or private land, excuse me. You can see that's our budget for this year. It's about $136.5 million. About 515 employees to do that work. We are still the 2nd leading producer of natural gas in the state at about 11,000 plus wells. And then we also are within the Piceance Basin, just over my shoulder this way. And that is about known to contain about 66 trillion cubic feet of natural gas underfoot, placing it as the 2nd largest producible shale basin in the United States. So a lot of gas here. You may not have known, and you can celebrate now, but we had a birthday. And that's James Garfield, of course, 20th President of the United States. We are 143 years old. I don't look that old, I don't think. I have a lot of gray hair, but I think that's 2 teenage daughters that are doing that. And then the photo on the right, that is Carbonate, so that's our original county seat, and we've come a long way from those humble beginnings. A couple of things I want to run through today, everything from our communications effort to the airport to building and planning to federal and state matters. So where I am here, the county for the last 10 years has been working really hard to develop its communications and broadband. And when I say broadband, I mean fiber network to bring that here locally to Western Garfield County in particular. And to make a very long story short, we've been very successful. We've rebuilt the 4 main towers that we have. Some are in excess of 230 feet tall high towers. But also, and critical to this, is we now have finished what we call our middle mile fiber infrastructure. And that is bringing what we call carrier neutral locations to all of our jurisdictions, from Glenwood all the way in every jurisdiction to Parachute. Great partnerships with all of our towns in doing that, and that then is connected to the fiber that is in I-70. And so all of these facilities, I'll show you a picture of that here. That's what this image looks like right there. That's a CNL, and then of course these are 2 of our towers. But that is where now these are lit. These are hot structures, so that we are trying to market and bring internet service providers, ISPs, with a fiber focus to then launch from these into our communities and out into unincorporated Garfield County. So serving non-served and underserved residents along with the municipalities. So this is critical. This is probably the biggest thing Garfield County can do in terms of economic development, period. This is laying the infrastructure that is so critical, and you have this in place, and then great things will happen. Our 4 towers, you can see there some Sunlight Peak in Glenwood, Lookout Mountain also in Glenwood, Harvey Gap, and then Anvil Points. As you leave, you can probably, as you head west, you can see that tower. So exciting work happening there. I won't read all of this, but just to underscore the importance of fiber and growing communities. This is one of the #1 reasons why businesses choose to locate places, particularly in rural areas. What lifts them up is a broadband infrastructure, and that's why we find this so important. And you can see there's a recent report. It's a great report, actually. This is the Center on Rural Innovation. 213% higher business growth, 10% higher self-employment growth, 44% GDP growth, 18% per capita income growth. These are staggering numbers that this project, we hope, will elevate what's happening in Garfield County. And it lifts all sectors. That's what's in the blue. All these sectors, from education to healthcare, public safety, certainly economic development, business growth. Having this infrastructure, this is the highway that we want to build so that these great things can happen. To put that in scale and context, if you go home and you're sitting there with your Comcast like I do, I suffer with Comcast, no offense, but your typical download speeds are about 240, 250 megabytes per second. Fiber brings you 1.2 million times faster. On to the airport. Lots happening at the airport. We are still the third busiest airport in the state for general aviation, about 20,000 flights in and out, still servicing a whole host of international locations, London, Brazil, so forth. Our focus is still business jet aviation with hangar development and real estate development along the same lines. We continue to have an excellent partnership with Atlantic Aviation, who's here. Nice to see you, and that's a wonderful partnership that we have. I will tell you, the county has engaged with another FBO. We have signed a lease with that FBO, fixed base operator, and that is underway. We also recently, in terms of the economic impact to Garfield County and the region, that's what the numbers are on the right side of that screen. The Division of Aeronautics does this every 5 years for us. They do it across the state. And these numbers I'll show you there on the bottom. That's the growth in 5 years for FTE support, so from 277 up to 391. Payroll, 16 million up to 25, and then 42 in business revenues. All said and told, it's about $80 million in economic generation within the county annually. So it's a big deal. At the airport specifically, a couple of projects I want to share with you that are super exciting. Right now, we are in the midst of completing our master plan for the airport. The FAA has us doing this every 10 years. It is a 20-year horizon in the plan, but it also contains a business plan and an airport layout plan. The airport layout plan is what you're seeing on the screens. Basically, physically, where do things go? And we need to be very strategic about that, so we don't put something that will stay there for 40 years, not knowing, oops, we should have not done it that way. We need to make sure that we are measuring twice and cutting once. When we do, that's really important for this asset. Specifically to the airfield, we're looking to do about $11 million in capital out there this year. Specifically, phase one of our apron, this is where we park our jets, park our airplanes. It's more than that, but phase one we're going to do this year at about $6 million. A big lift of that is from the FAA, which is fabulous. But there is some county funds involved in that. And then we're also going to build what we call Taxiway Bravo, Taxiway B, and that will serve that will respond to an immediate congestion issue that we have on the runway now. But it also positions us really well for the Aspen closure in 27 that's going to happen. So a lot of that pressure is coming this way. We're trying to make smart decisions to be able to brace for that. And then once all this development continues, that will carry us into years into the future. So Taxiway B is a very important project for the county. And then, as I mentioned, we have signed a lease with Vantage Aviation as our second FBO, and they are underway right now. They are building, and that's what this structure is here. So if you drive that way back out, you'll see that structure up. And that's about Vantage Aviation is about a $52 million private investment into the airport. And so it's going gangbusters. They're underway. So it's very exciting. I want to switch gears to wildfire. It's on the top of, at least on the top of my mind. It's, with this anemic winter we're having, if you can even call it that. But we're working really hard at the airport, keeping it as a wildfire response asset for the region. And we've made some really great strides, and we continue to do that. You're seeing here, we still home to the Center of Excellence, which was awarded by the governor as a competitive process. That was about 10 years ago, along with the Technodrome, which is very exciting how they test drones. We're also home to the single-engine air tankers, the SEAT base. That's a BLM creature, and that's been very, very successful, particularly as a first strike on fires. We also are home to the Interagency Wildland Response Station. It's a partnership with the state, the Bureau of Land Management, Forest Service, and also Colorado River Fire Rescue. Maybe most exciting, at least in my mind, is this slide here. So this was last summer. This was on the airfield, and we hosted a number of Black Hawk helicopters, amongst other aerial assets. Here they're landed because I think it was too smoky for them to fly at the time. But that was a critical asset that we were able to use not only in previous years with the Grizzly and Pine Gulch fire, but also with the Lee and Elk fire this last summer, which was horrendous. And everyone knows they felt that, of course. These helicopters were critical in that support. And in fact, it kept the fire from actually crossing the border into Garfield County. Not a single acre of Garfield County burned in the Lee fire. Now we're trying to lean heavily to take care of our good brethren in Rio Blanco County, where they suffered greatly. But This was a critical asset, and so we're working really hard with our congressional delegation right now. It's one of the things Perry's doing back in D.C. to try to permanently locate this asset on our airfield. And so we're also working with the state to do the same. Shifting gears to building, what's happening out there on the ground in terms of residential growth, commercial growth. This slide is meant to just highlight a span of years from 2018. You'll see the rise out into COVID and the drop because of COVID. But as you see, the bright yellow on the top, that shows total building permits. So we're at 540 permits. That is on track with the same trajectory that we had going into COVID. So that's good news. And then the same thing, the blue line on the bottom shows you our single-family dwelling unit growth, all in unincorporated Garfield County, not in the towns, at about 192. So those are on good trajectories at this point. Wanted to highlight a couple of really big projects that are proposed in Garfield County. One is called Harvest Roaring Fork, and this is a proposed planning unit development between Glenwood Springs and Carbondale. And that proposal, as you can see on the screen, is about 1,500 dwelling units, 1,500 dwelling units, 55,000 acres or square feet of commercial, and then also up to about a 150-room hotel. And so at full build out, that community could serve, anywhere from 3,700 to maybe 4,200 long-term residents. So it's a pretty significant development. Again, it's in the proposal phase, hasn't gone through hearings yet. Same is true with the one below that, which is Nutrient Farms. And some of you here in this room, I know, have heard about that project. That's still a proposal. And that's a mixed-use plan unit development just east of Newcastle. And that's proposing a big, wide variety of mixed-use, RV park, agritourism, restaurant, amphitheater for music events, restaurant, dwelling units, a few of those. So pretty substantial. Again, that's still in the planning phase. The top one, however, heads to our planning commission tomorrow night, and that is up at the CMC Spring Valley campus. We didn't have the space to hold what we anticipate to be the crowd that's coming for that, so that'll be a pretty significant one you'll, I'm sure, read about. The county commissioners spend a lot of time, I get to spend a lot of time gratefully with the commissioners in this space here, and this is at the state and federal level. Which is really important because of the federal lands that we have in the county. And it's critical that we advocate for the use and development of those lands. The first topic here on the left, this is Sweetwater Lake. A couple years ago, more than a couple years ago, 4 years ago, the governor showed up in Sweetwater Lake and announced that that little lake that we have there in northeastern Garfield County is going to be the state's next 43rd state park. We didn't know. He didn't tell us. The community didn't know. They had no idea. I'm not sure his staff knew. But he stood there looking over the lake and said, "That's what we're doing." Since then, the commissioners have been advocating extremely hard to defend what the community up there is bracing for and trying like heck. Someone told me today I could cuss to spice it up, but I'm not going to. Kenda. But no, they've been fighting really hard for that community. And again, it's a Forest Service creature. The Forest Service came in and bought all that lake up, and fighting them is a David and Goliath match. But we're still at it. The draft of the EIS is coming out this summer. The next one here, you were very familiar with this as it touches just about everybody in this room, and that is the fight to advocate for Shoshone permanency in that water right. And that's critical. This is probably one of the biggest legacy projects maybe any of us will work on, honestly, to keep that water over here on the west slope, serving our communities for all of the reasons that it supports what we do and what we love. So right now, we're still working on trying to make that purchase. The county's into it for $3 million, and now it's headed into water court. And so that's going to take some time. So we'll see what transpires. But we're advocating hard, along with a lot of partners, or even in this room, doing that. The last bullet to the right, this is really important. As I mentioned, the commissioners do a lot of work, and that's what Perry's doing right now, fighting for basically the rights that we have to do energy development on public lands in Garfield County, particularly on the public lands. And so right now, let's take the BLM as an example. To do that development in Garfield County, there's a redundant dual process where not only do you have to go through and get all your permits and develop the lease according to the BLM rules, but you also have to do that under the state of Colorado's rules. And so what we're trying to do is tease those apart so that the BLM can control its own destiny and ergo be much more efficient in developing those energy resources, which are critical. And all said and told, that's where the FML dollars come from. So that if you can unloose the stranglehold on that, then those dollars continue to flow. That's how important this is, right? It's critical. The Federal Mineral Lease District has improved communities here at the tune of $45 million since 2011, so it's a big deal. Just a couple more thoughts here I wanted to share along the lines of affordable housing. The commissioners continue to push affordable housing basically through incentivizing the free market to develop. They are also very involved in the use, the county gets private activity bonds on an annual basis through DOLA and through the Department of Housing. And this year's allotment's about $4 million, and that's fairly close year to year. And we use those funds, hopefully if there's a project that comes along, a private developer can come along and say, we meet CHAPA's rules to do that. Right now we've got a project in Glenwood Springs that was able to do that. They're going to break ground this year. That's 88 units of really low AMI, like 30 to 50% AMI, which if you're tracking that, that's substantial. That's a big gap. And also for low-income mortgages for eligible residents. We also were one of the leading counties, frankly, to make ADUs a use by right, long before the governor did that. And then we're going to continue to work through Proposition 123 that the board did join, and we will meet the affordable housing quota for that. And primarily a lot of that's in Battlement Mesa, actually. On the health and human services side of things, which is unique to counties, right? Cities don't have that. That's within human services and public health. The board recently has awarded Youth Zone as well as Yampa Mountain High School $125,000, $100,000 to Youth Zone and $25,000 to Yampa Mountain High School, which are critical to our community for, thank you, right, friends in the back. It's critical, and it's actually in the Post-Independent today. There's a great article about that. But to serve our youth in our county directly with these funds for mental health and dependency issues. And so that's really important. And we're going to continue to get those opioid funds until they run out. So it's about another 18 years or so. And then last slide here, we also work with our Hispanic community. There's a great new group that has formed. It's sort of a Hispanic forum. They're titled Our People, Our Community. And often we'll meet in libraries or down here. Perry Will is the champion for the board on this. And you can see, I won't read all of it, but that's a snippet from their mission statement. And they are a super thoughtful, super engaged group to work with our communities. How can they engage civically and bring clarity, truthful communication between the Hispanic and English-speaking communities. Just wrapping up here, a couple of cases. The commissioners have been really busy on the legal front on two huge cases. I wanted to share one today with this group. That I call, it's the County Road 200 case, also known as High Lonesome Ranch versus the Board of County Commissioners. And after 10 years of litigation, we finally, at the end of last year, won this case, adding to federal case law in terms of public access to public lands. This is an enormous win for Garfield County. We're real proud of it. There's a long story short. Basically, there is a landowner west of Rome Creek, High Lonesome Ranch, owns a lot of the bottom valley floor, and we have a county road, public road that travels through one of their parcels, and they had put a gate up and locked it. And we said, look, this is a county road, this is a public road, and you can't lock this gate. And they said, well, we're going to sue you. And they did, and we won. In the end, that effort, I mean, there's 10 years of stuff here, right? But in the end, unlocking that gate, in fact, physically removing that gate, which it is now, opened up 50,000 acres of BLM to the public. That's all of us. It's not a private hunting ground anymore. And also 14 miles of roads off of County Road 200. So it's an enormous win for Garfield County. We're still looking to other gates, what else is out there, and we will do that. We're looking for that kind of win, though, right? What's the public benefit to us, to the county? Just finishing up, here's the last slide. Wanted to quickly run through just a few of our capital projects. $13 million in capital this year that we hope is an infusion into the local economy. Some of this is internal, so we have 2 jail elevators we need to replace, courthouse security scanners, body scanners, jail camera system. It's easy to say these things, but they're really expensive, but also really important. At the fairgrounds, we're going to also bring in a new skid steer, water truck, and most importantly, a mobile stage. And I mention that because that's an asset that hopefully some of the folks in this room might find interesting, and is an asset that we can leverage and work with you about different events that you might find that valuable for. We're going to still work on drainage in Battle Mesa. We do every year. We're going to do about 33 miles of chip and seal and some paving through the county. I've already talked about the airport, and then we're going to replace about a dozen vehicles in our fleet. So that's sort of a snippet of our capital this year. And then lastly, just again, to commend the commissioners, it is really their leadership and their vision that gets all of this work done. It's a heavy lift, it's exciting, but you stand on the shoulders of greatness, right? I have an incredible management team that I get to work with, that gets to work with the commissioners to do all this work. 3 of those folks are here, and I wanted to highlight them so they get to meet this room, because 2 of them have not been here before. So I wanted to introduce Rob Hanna. Rob, if you'd stand just so that everyone can see you. And then it's our new Deputy County Manager, Kelsey Velasquez, who is our brand new Fair and Events Coordinator. So get to know Kelsey. Some of you probably know Kelsey. And then Sam Carver over here, who's our Airport Director. So again, thanks to the Chamber for having us. Hopefully this has been useful and helpful. Any of this information, if you want to do a deeper dive, please reach out to us, and I'm happy to share any of this stuff. So thank you so much for your time.
Wow, Mr. Jarman, you guys have been busy. Thank you so much. Another round of applause for the county, please. Thank you. All right, up next we have Mr. Travis Elliott, Town Manager for the Town of Parachute. What you got, Travis? Come on up. There he is.
That sounded like a challenge a little bit. Huh? Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us back. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Travis Elliott, Town Manager for the Town of Parachute. I actually have a very simple role in today's presentation, but it's a great honor to introduce our Mayor, Tom Rugart.
Thank you, Travis. It's nice that he gets to do all the work and I get to look pretty. So, but thank you, CRB Chamber. I mean, wow, that's pretty impressive. All those businesses, all the people here. It seems like there's a lot more tables this year than last year. So, thank you all for being here. I didn't know we were getting 30 minutes. We got a short video, so you get to listen to me talk for 25 minutes, and then we'll watch the video. I'm just kidding. But we've had a great year, thanks to our staff and all the hard work they do, and all of our partners, too, with the commissioners and DOLA and the FMLD and all that. So we appreciate all the help we get, and I'll just turn it over to our video.
Hi, I am Tom Rugart, proud mayor of the town of Parachute, and I'm here to tell you about the great year we had in 2025 and the momentum that we carry into 2026. With the hard work of our staff and strong support we've received from many of our partners, we've made great progress towards setting ourselves up for another very busy and productive 2026 and beyond. Let's start with the most visible project of 2025, the Parachute Inn property. Last year at this event, I updated you on the plans to tear down the old Parachute Inn Hotel and replace it with attainable housing made up of 68 new apartment units and 3,100 square feet of commercial space. We were happy to report that the old hotel is currently buried somewhere in the Garfield County landfill, and construction is well on its way, and completion is expected in late summer and early fall of 2026. The town was successful in partnering up with the developer Headwaters Housing Partners to secure a substantial DOLA grant for the construction of additional public infrastructure surrounding the site, which is also under construction. Efforts are underway to complete 100% design for the redevelopment of First Street, Highway 6, which has been funded by previous grants from CDOT and DOLA. We were also recently awarded $3 million to be used towards construction. We're planning to present the latest design work at our next scheduled Plan Jam event, which is scheduled for March 31st at the Valley Senior Center in Parachute. The Parachute Area Transit System, PATS, had quite a bit of activity in 2025 and will go through some pretty big changes this year. In 2025, the PATS Advisory Board was formed as a step towards having a bit more strategic activity for the system. It currently consists of a member from Rifle, Garfield County, and Parachute. Also thanks to a traditional grant from the Garfield County Mineral Waste District, a new bus facility was built for PATS. Currently, efforts are underway to expand PATS services to include an on-demand service in both the Parachute Battlement community as well as Rifle. Through grants and increased contributions from Rifle and Battlement Mesa, we were able to negotiate an agreement with the Downtowner to manage PATS and expand its services. We were able to complete and improve our Cottonwood Park Area Master Plan in 2025. The process involved the Town of Parachute, the Parachute Battlement Mesa Park and Rec District, and the Grand Valley Park Association. All three are property owners in the master plan area and came together to agree on a concept for the future development of the area. The plan includes the creation of additional parking, trails, and significant upgrades to the rodeo grounds. Thanks to the generous support of the Garfield County Board of County Commissioners, Parachute was able to acquire the Valley Senior Center facility in Parachute. Previously owned by Garfield County Housing Authority, it has served as a gathering place for the area's residents of various activities. The facility will continue to provide the services it currently does and will also provide the town with an additional venue for events and community gatherings. As is the case every year, Parachute hosted and supported various events to enable residents and visitors to gather and enjoy each other's company and make lasting memories. Our 9th annual Parachute Pickup was another successful two-day event. Residents and various volunteer groups such as Northwest Koga came out to help tidy the town up. The event includes a Friday cleanup and community picnic, and a Saturday drop-off until the dumpsters are full. The 2025 pickup event was especially notable because the Battlement Mesa community agreed to hold a simultaneous drop-off event on Saturday. It was so successful that they will be participating again this year on Friday and Saturday, April 24th and 25th, 2026. The town was a proud sponsor of the first annual Mayfest event put on by the students at Grand Valley High School and the Garfield County 16 school-based Family Resource Center. The event included a 5K run, multiple kids activities, and a battle of the bands. The event was very successful and we are anticipating it will grow even more for 2026. Save the date, Saturday, May 2nd, 2026. Our third annual Monday Market was a success and continued its momentum. Many volunteer groups and vendors gathered on Monday afternoons to provide fresh, locally sourced produce as well as baked goods and some crafted goods. The event is scheduled to return in 2026, beginning July 6th. All proceeds from the event are donated to the G16 Family Base Resource Center. This was our 86th year for Grand Valley Days, hosted by the Grand Valley Parks Association. It's a celebration of Parachute and its rich heritage. The 3-day event features a pancake breakfast, parade, rodeo, live music, and a pie and ice cream social. We hope to see you all there for number 87 this year, August 13th, 14th, and 15th of 2026. This circus is coming to town. The Zoppe Italian Family Circus was in town for almost a week and conducted shows August 1st through the 4th of 2025, which took place at Cottonwood Park and were very well attended. Don't miss it this summer and stay tuned for more show dates and when they return. We wrapped up our year with a visit from Santa and Mrs. Claus. Holidays in Grand Valley brought the whole family out to enjoy lots of hot chocolate, snacks, cookies, our parade of lights, and a spectacular fireworks display. The event and Santa will return this winter on Saturday, December 12th. Other happenings worth noting are the Wasson McKay project is fully complete. The Historical Society Museum and the Canopy Pottery Studio are fully operational and open to the public. Our beautification grant was successful in 2025, and the cycle is currently open for 2026. It provides a 1-to-1 match grant for up to $5,000 to business owners within Parachute to beautify their establishments. The town's URA, the Parachute Renewal Partnership, is the approving body. Two street reconstruction projects, Hill Street and Cardinal Way at the Grand Valley High School, were completed thanks to assistance from the FMLD and DOLA. As always, I'd like to end with a huge thank you to all that were involved in making our 2025 a safe, successful year for the town of Parachute. This includes our hardworking and dedicated staff, our police officers, our dozens of active volunteer groups, our hardworking business owners, various government partners, visitors, and of course, our supportive residents. Thank you again, and it's always a pleasure to be here and enjoyed the food, enjoyed all the activities here today. But as you can see, just our little town, we're about 1,500 residents in Parachute. We have lots of partners, and again, just a big thank you to all them, and especially all the people that live in Parachute. So we might be a small community, but when you add Battlement and Parachute together, I believe we're the third largest in the county. So we're the big little brother. So have a great day.
Wow, great job on that video, guys. I felt the staff's heart seize a little bit when you said 30 minutes, Mayor Regard. Thanks for keeping it on time. All right, next up we have Battlement Mesa Service Association, and we have the BMSA Board President, Dan Burr, and new Director, Brandon Burke.
Good afternoon. I think when we left you last year, we were in a kind of a state of flux. We were our district manager, Steve Rippey, was dealing with a bout of cancer, and he eventually passed away. And so rest in peace, Steve. Over the course of last year, Alex Morris stepped up, and she was our acting manager for the association and the BMMD, and did a fantastic job, and just want to give her a shout out for all she did last year. If you could give her a round of applause. Well, that leads us into Brandon here. The BMMD carried a pretty extensive search for a new manager to help with the BMSA and the district, and ended up reaching out to Brandon, or he reached out to us, I'm not sure which, but ended up stealing him away from the town of Parachute to become our new district manager. So welcome, Brandon, and I will turn it over to him for the little bit of presentation that we have.
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Burke. I came from the town of Parachute. I was there for about 5 years. I still like them too, so it was good. Thanks, Travis, for putting that picture of me in there too. My best light. But yeah, we are unincorporated Garfield County up there. We have the Service Association and 3 special districts. So we wanted to just have our presentation, very brief. We'll yield some time back to Silt and Newcastle. I'm sure theirs are going to be good. But just talk about kind of the projects that we've done within the last year, and a couple housing projects that we've got going on this year. If you guys knew Steve, he was real good with public speaking. I am not. So we're going to turn it over to the presentation. Just told you, we're going to keep it brief. So we'll keep it brief because we all have work to do. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Fantastic job. I know you've had real big shoes to fill, and I think I speak for everybody when I say you're doing a great job. So thank you for everything. Glad to have you. Another big round of applause for Badminton. Thanks. All right, next up, we have a presentation from City of Rifle. We have our mayor, Clint Hostetler, and city manager, Patrick Waller.
I'll start things off here before I turn it over to Patrick so you guys can kind of see all the incredible things we've been doing in Rifle over 2025 and kind of our plans for 2026. First, I'd like to thank the Chamber for putting this event on. I am a member of the Chamber Board, and our board and staff and ambassadors and Hill and everybody that's involved with the Chamber are incredible. I'm so proud to be a part of that organization. I'd also like to thank the citizens of Rifle for putting up with all the capital projects we've been doing, all the roads that have been torn up, all the detours. I am now getting positive feedback because a lot of it's completed, and everyone's like, man, this is great. And I'm like, yeah, just a little bit of pain, and then we get all these great things. So I'd also like to thank our regional partners, which is all the municipalities here, Garfield County, all the great nonprofits we have in Garfield County and on the Colorado River. Without all these partners, like we're not going to be able to accomplish all of our goals. And Western Garfield County is a happening place right now, and working together even with the Grand River Hospital and CMC and the airport. And I'm just seeing like a very bright next 5 or 10 years. I won't talk about our projects because I'll let Patrick do that. I think that's it. I'm going to turn it over to Patrick for our presentation.
Thanks, Mayor Hostetler. My name is Patrick Waller. I'm the city manager for the city of Rifle. And we'll get going here. I'm sure it's going to work flawlessly. Michael's got it. Okay. What I wanted to focus on first is kind of all the capital projects the city has going on. It's been a big push the past couple years. It will continue to be so for the next couple with the priorities that council has identified. Then I'm going to pass it over to a couple department heads. Don't worry, you'll still get a video. I know everyone was nervous about not getting one. For them to explain a couple in-depth pieces of how the city of Rifle is moving forward. So this is a list of the major projects that were completed in 2025. Of note, the River Bridge resurfacing, which I'm sure everyone notices as it comes across the Colorado River. Also, one of the most significant projects the city has undertaken since the water treatment plant is our Penwell transmission line. So that's the water transmission line from the water plant up to the tanks. And so that was a really important project. They are just connecting water right now. That's what our engineer tells me. So no problems left yet. Water's still on at the hospital, so everything's going really good. Thanks, Craig. But no, that project's been great. Working with a great contractor has been really exciting. For 2026, you can see the major projects that I wanted to point out. One is the Rifle Creek Bridge. So there's going to be a bridge from Park Avenue Spur by the new apartment complex across to Park and Third. It's really the last major connection to take additional traffic off Railroad. So we're really excited about that project. And then Birch Park as well. When I was growing up, the joke was always that there's 2 seasons in Colorado, right? There's construction season, and then there's the rest of the year, just winter. And this year, it's all been construction season. So Birch Park has been moving quickly. It's about a 5.5-acre park that is the city's really excited about. That's fulfilling a lot of long-term goals that we have. We'll go to the next slide, Michael. So what does that all mean? Just big picture. Last year was really impactful. So as Mayor Hostetler said, we're really thankful to our community for the patience they have with a lot of road detour signs up as these projects are moving forward. We saw about 5 miles of road construction, and that was heavy changes to our road network. 2.33 miles of water line being replaced and about 1/4 mile of sewer line. So really productive from an infrastructure standpoint. And then for this year, we have about $26 million in capital projects identified for 2026. So I hope everyone enjoys the next about month, and then we'll have some roads torn up again and getting rebuilt, and we're available. So the next slide here is our city engineer talking about how the city's really been able to leverage a lot of just different funding resources in order to get a lot of these projects done. So.
As discussed, or you might have noticed, there's a lot of infrastructure projects happening in Rifle. It is worth discussing how these projects were implemented. These projects go back to planning that began in the early 2000s and resulted in a new water and wastewater plants. In 2019, Rifle developed master plans for water, sewer, and streets that covered capital and maintenance projects. The city then designed 5 years' worth of these projects identified in the plans. The city contracted a grant writing firm and hired a grant manager. On the finance side, the city increased its purchasing power by completing projects at scale and managing construction contracts. The city continues to get competitive bids that finish under budget. What all this created was a full list of shovel-ready projects, reserves that could get grant matches, and a team that could apply and manage grants. In 2025, every major project except one was funded in part by grants. In 2026, a similar amount of infrastructure will be replaced funded by grants going back to 2023. Beyond 2026, it is projected that there will be less grants, primarily because decreases in the funding behind them. Regardless of grant availability, by about 2030, Rifle's arterial infrastructure will be up to date, and the priority will be on infrastructure in residential and neighborhoods. Because it was built primarily in the 2000s boom era, this is the largest amount of infrastructure, and it will all begin to degrade at the same time. Grants do not usually support infrastructure in neighborhoods, so there will be a decrease in revenue at the same time the increase in demand takes place. The city is currently developing a comprehensive capital and maintenance plan that will help prepare the city for increasing demand and decreasing revenues. It will remain the city's priority to maintain infrastructure at a rate that ensures its sustainability.
All right. So that's Craig Spalding, our city engineer. We're really lucky to have him. Thanks, Craig. As always, when you talk to an engineer, he tells you the truth and just gives you news, good and bad. So, good news. We're going to have a funding issue in a couple years. I guess bad news is we're going to have a funding issue in a couple years. So about 2030, check in with us. But anyway, the next piece we have here is we're also moving forward with a land use and development code update. So that's the zoning code that impacts sort of the regulatory development community in the city. And we're really excited about this project. We'll have another little mini video here with Zach Higgins, our Community Development Director.
The City of Rifle has recently kicked off a 16-month process to update and reconfirm our comprehensive plan and rewrite the city's land use and development code. Comprehensive plans are generally updated every 5 years, and ours was adopted in 2019. The city anticipates reconfirming the majority of the comprehensive plan with the exception of South Rifle, where we anticipate an update to better reflect recent development demands. The updated comprehensive plan will aim to provide long-term vision and direction to the city staff and elected officials for how Rifle should adapt, grow, and what we should hold important over the next 10 to 20 years. The city and its hired consultant, SE Group, will be conducting engagement efforts throughout the city to obtain insights and feedback, as well as provide education and information for this process over the next 6 to 9 months. In an effort to bring the goals and vision of the comprehensive plan into fruition, the city will also be doing a land use and development code overhaul. This new code will be rifle-focused and will aim to provide more flexibility and give more property rights to rifle property owners. The code update will also focus on simplifying processes to ensure universal understanding and make it easier for local, existing, or new small business owners to set up shop in Rifle. It is imperative that the community provide substantial input on what matters most about their neighborhood to ensure this code protects what is most important and allows for growth and adaptability. Stay tuned to the city's website, the dedicated project page, rootedinrifle.com, and local events to participate and give your input.
All right, so I'll just echo with what Zach said. Please, as we go through this process, this is really meant to be a community-driven plan. I think that's what council is envisioning. It's what staff would like to see. So please show up to a meeting or a survey or even send an email about something you like or dislike. We're open to all comments here as we move forward. And then the last little video we have is our Parks and Rec Director. He'll be discussing a priority that Rifle set a long time ago, not that long ago, 2019. Well, it seems like a long time ago, for Parks Master Plan that we have, and how Rifle's been successful in achieving that.
Hi everyone, I wanted to give you a quick update about parks and open space in Rifle. In our 2019 comprehensive plan, the city set a goal that residents should be within a quarter mile of, or about a 10-minute walk to a park or open space. This walkability standard helps ensure families, kids, and neighbors can easily access outdoor space close to home. As Rifle continues to grow, Birch Park and the South Rifle property are among the last key opportunities to meet that goal in areas of the city that currently lack a park or open space within a 10-minute walk. The city has 14 unique park locations. With the completion of Birch Park this summer and thoughtful planning of the South Rifle property, we can stay aligned with the comprehensive plan and maintain the quality of life that makes Rifle such a great place to live.
So I'll just echo one last thing that Austin said. The reason that we have such great parks program is because Rifle citizens decided that it was important enough to implement a one-set sales tax. And I think our city council and staff have been really good stewards of that. We have one of the best park systems. I put us up against anyone else that's 10,000 folks. We're just really excited about what the future has to hold with that. And then to echo what Mayor Hostetler mentioned, I just want to say thank you to all the community partners in this room, all the different municipalities, Garfield County, all the nonprofits, just everyone who's involved. I think it's what makes this area a special place. I'll hand it over to the Mayor.
I forgot, like the biggest bullet point on my notes that I didn't look at very well was to none of the successes that Rifle has would be possible without an incredible staff that from our managers all the way down to the people that are plowing snow and digging holes in parks and mowing grass. Our staff is incredible, and I probably should have led with that. But yeah, the future of Rifle's looking bright, even with and challenges are great because we're ready to meet them. So, thank you.
All right. So next up, we do have the Town of Silt Town Manager Jim Mann. Come on up. Oh, it looks like we got Mr. Mayor Keith coming up as well. You gonna do the talking?
No.
Yeah.
No. I do not do talking. So my part will be very quick. I just want to let everyone know that Jim has a very interactive show coming up. So everyone's going to have to participate. Yes. No, really, I just want to thank the Chamber for putting this event on. It does get better and better every year. I want to thank the Town of Silt staff. They are, everyone else mentioned it. They are the unsung heroes that are the boots on the ground getting these projects and everything done every day. Silt staff is probably just a little bit better than everybody else's, though. So I want to thank the Garfield County Board of County Commissioners for all their help and FMLD for everything they do. And with that, I will turn it over to Jim.
I have to say that there's a little trepidation in starting my presentation simply because Newcastle goes after me. And I also apologize. I guess I'm going to have to step up my game. My production value is not nearly as nice as some of these others. But hopefully technology does not fail me and we can get this rolling. Are you doing it or am I doing it? I think I actually have to click through this one. In theory. Is it rolling? Okay, well, uncomfortable silence. This is where the interpretive dance comes in. So soft shoe. There we go. There was peace in the Colorado River Valley. Eastern aggression had ceased. Troubles persisted as peacetime took over, the children came out to play. A Thursday night rager brought Hairball, a nationally touring cover band, as the town's marquee concert event for the year. The remaining 3 concerts in our summer series all occurred on Friday evenings at the Stony Ridge Pavilion. This natural amphitheater environment is an idyllic place to sit back, relax, enjoy a beverage, grab some food from a vendor, send the kids off to many of the activities that are available, and just enjoy an evening. The town continues to expand its youth sports activities, whether it's micro soccer, volleyball, or basketball. Providing activities for the kids is a key component to service offerings by the town. "2025 was a year of additions. Lighting was added to the horseshoe pits and skate park. Fall protection was replaced at Flying Eagle Park. The first annual skateboard competition was held. Community park renovations commenced through a Great Outdoor Colorado grant. Rehabilitation and expansion of the disc golf course was started, and planning for the rehabilitation of Veterans Park began. The town's annual Easter egg hunt came off under a bluebird spring day. Attendees enjoyed hunting for the perfect elusive Easter egg, getting their face painted, saying hi to the Easter bunny, and I guess the Easter carrot, and hanging out with the Silk PD. Continuing the efforts to keep the dental hygienists in business, the town's annual Main Street trick-or-treat happened on a beautiful Bluebird Day again. Horse-drawn wagons, the kiddie train, trick-or-treating with area businesses, a costume contest, and hanging out with the well-cooked hams. In November, we turned to the white Christmas tree lighting. Reindeer, family fun. But with peacetime, there are always challenges that must be overcome. One year ago, we reported that we had come out of the ground with our water treatment plant replacement. Today, we can say that we are 95% completed on the plant's construction. This past Tuesday, the plant started pushing water through the filtration system. After 2 weeks of optimizing the filtration system, we will begin decommissioning the old plant. The old plant will house a new UV disinfection system as a final process in providing potable water. The plant, when fully operational, will produce up to 2 million gallons of potable water per day, 1 million gallons per day firm. The increased capacity will allow for a more than doubling of silt population. The $28 million plant construction was only made possible through a variety of federal, state, and local assistance. Continuing the town's efforts to preserve open space for all to use, the town has opened negotiations to purchase the 112-acre Silt Island property, which is sandwiched between the Silt River Preserve and the Silt Island Park, a dog-designated park. This partnership with the Aspen Valley Land Trust would create a contiguous 280-acre park conservation zone within the Colorado River Valley, preserving it for all generations going forward. Key considerations related to the acquisition efforts are to provide public access to fishing, rafting, birding, etc., and to also preserve riparian habitat. A secondary goal is to provide a route for the Lower Valley Trail to run along the river through this section of silt. Development is always on the forefront of our minds. With over 1,500 additional residential units in one stage of planning or another, and over 50,000 square feet of commercial development, there is a lot going on in the town. In 2026, initiatives to update the Silt Comprehensive Plan, rewrite Title 16, the Subdivision Code, and Title 17, the Zoning Code, are made possible in part through a local planning capacity grant received from the Department of Local Affairs. The grant, funded through Proposition 123 funds, has an initial focus related to bringing the town's comprehensive plan and Titles 16 and 17 into the modern era, stripping down barriers to development of a workforce housing stock. The grant will allow us to hire an on-staff full-time planner to assist in the process. In 2025, county representatives informed the city of Rifle and town of Silt that the hogback funding included in the county budget had been eliminated. Silt and Rifle successfully lobbied the county to restore a portion of the funding, which amounted to a 50% cut from 2025 levels. As a response, Silt budgeted $40,000 contribution to assist in paying for the line in 2026, but more work must be done, as the county has indicated that the 2026 funding level, a look forward to 2026.
Go back to that.
The town has been.
All right, I guess I have to ad-lib this since the audio's not quite there. Went up. Yep. So after the county informed the communities that the funding for the hogback line was going to be eliminated in 2026, we successfully lobbied and got about $250,000 back in the budget to keep the line running through 2026. County has indicated that that funding is in jeopardy for 2027, so we have a funding problem that we need to solve. And there are two things that we really need to look at. There's the funding side of the equation and there's the service side of the equation. And for the hogback line to be successful, we've suggested that the funding needs to be a combination of a number of changes, one of which is a reprioritization of the use of the county's 1% sales tax that was authorized by the voters. 48% of the sales tax that the county collects stays within the county's budget and operations. 52% is distributed currently to three partners, which is the local communities, the Carbondale, Glenwood Springs, Newcastle, Silt, Rifle, and Parachute. And then a portion goes to the library district and a portion funds the communications authority. We've suggested that there could be a realignment of that distribution to include transportation initiatives that would fund the hogback, the traveler, the Parachute area transit system, and then also provide dollars back to the members of RAFTA, which are Newcastle, Glenwood Springs, and Carbondale. It would require increased contribution from the towns of Silt and the city of Rifle. But key to being successful is a change to the hogback line. Right now, there's a donut in the middle of the day where we don't have a lot of service. That needs to be closed. And then secondly, and probably more importantly, is a reroute of the route that would take the bus south by the airport, Colorado Mountain College, this facility, Walmart, and all the retail located south of I-70 in Rifle. So that's the proposal. It requires a vote of the electors. So this would be a ballot initiative. And it would, obviously it's up to the voters. This is a proposal. There are some impacts not only to the local communities, but there's some impacts to the library district that all have to be weighed in the final decision making in terms of what is necessary. But from our perspective, we feel it's transportation is a higher priority right now than continuing to fully fund the library and the local communities.
Okay, now you can go. A look forward to 2026. The town has been evaluating its public facilities. We have discovered that we have inadequate police and public works facilities. We need to repurpose the existing town hall space, but this is a question of funding. We are currently also looking towards a 250th celebration with planning underway. We are again filing for a build grant to construct the 7th Street. While Silt enjoyed sales tax revenue growth in 2025, fundamental revenue challenges persist. Silt operates on the lowest sales tax of any Garfield County incorporated community. Silt provides the same general and equal level of services as other communities. With the adoption of the tobacco nicotine products tax secured a funding source for parks, recreation, and events, but didn't solve the underlying problem. Continued Gold Dome and executive incompetence will add to the fiscal stress that communities feel. To continue serving the residents of Silt, additional revenues will be required, up to and including the potential Mayor Keith B. Reichel tollway. Your Silt Town Board. The Newcastle Town Council. The Rifle City Council. The Glenwood Springs City Council. Seriously? How did Fruta get in? As we deal with our individual community problems, let's get ready to rumble. Well, that could certainly escalate quickly. We must set aside our differences and work towards the common goals that our region deserves. You stay classy, Garfield. That in a nutshell is Silt. I'm definitely going to have to improve my production value for next year.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Keith. That was great. Peacetime, huh? We'll see what the other party has to say about that. All right. Wrapping it up for us today, we have the Town of Newcastle, Dave Reynolds, and I think the Miss Rochelle might be coming up as well. Here they come. All right.
We'll be right back with you guys.
That was cute, Jim.
This is your 5th grade history book. It's got all the information that your teachers wanted you to know. I assume you guys know this book inside and out.
I have to multitask. This is Newcastle's history book. It contains everything that we are going to teach you about how Newcastle helped form American history. And in honor of the America 250th anniversary and Colorado's 150th anniversary, today we will be presenting what most likely happened.
Oh, I thought I was dressed for the Olympics. We're doing the anniversary thing today.
Anniversary, Dave.
What we're about to teach you is for educational purposes only. No historians that we know of were injured in the making of this educational presentation. Their reputations maybe, that's still under review.
The History of America, the Newcastle story.
Chapter 1, The Famous Ride of Paul Revere.
From Boston to Lexington, the horse knew the way, but sometimes horses ignore Google Maps.
One if by land, two if by sea. It certainly is dark, but where could he be?
Lexington this way, the sign did declare, but off towards Newcastle he rode unaware.
He rode through the night till lights did appear.
Such a welcoming sight.
Time for pizza and beer.
Stopped at the livery for some well-needed rest.
Then he rode off to Boston to finish his quest. Chapter 2, The Lost Audio Recordings of Lewis and Clark. Well, Lewis, after months of searching, I think we found our course.
It sure is beautiful, Clark, but it looks like we have a hazard to the west and a strong winds out of the north. I think it might be smart to head towards the bluff.
Great call, Lewis. We can head straight toward the flag from here.
Great hit, Clark. Straight up Lakota's fifth fairway.
Hey, Lewis, I'll catch up at the next hole. My cart is having a hard time keeping up.
2,000 miles and 18 holes. What do you say we check out the clubhouse, Clark?
Wow, Lewis, Newcastle sure is gorgeous. I can see why people call it their home.
Clark, I can't believe they're paying us to explore the West and golf.
Chapter 3, The Declaration of Independence, Peeling Back the Layers of History.
Recently discovered beneath the Newcastle Museum what appears to be the original Declaration of Independence.
After months of restoration, something unexpected emerged.
In the upper right corner, a logo, perhaps?
At the bottom, a mysterious stamp and a signature.
Using advanced digital enhancement technology, experts made a shocking discovery.
Was the Declaration written on Newcastle letterhead?
And signed by the mayor of Newcastle? And witnessed by the town clerk?
We can't say for certain, but we're really comfortable taking partial credit. Chapter 4, George Washington crosses the Delaware, but things get rocky along the way.
George Washington saw a sign that said Newcastle. He assumed England. He paddled west.
After a full day on the river, wrong Newcastle.
Lost and confused, then welcomed by locals. Sir, that's not how you paddle a raft.
Thanks to Harcourt fishing guides, the commander-in-chief learned to hook a trophy trout.
Fish on, Mr. President. Keep your line tight. Looks like you've hooked a big one.
With clear directions back to New Jersey by a Newcastle resident who sends everybody back to New Jersey, the Battle of Trenton resumed, right on schedule. Chapter 5, The Boston Tea Party, and the discovery of what real men drank.
For years, colonists were forced to stop midday for tea.
Terribly sorry, old chap.
Listen here, Pilgrim. Toss that tea. Brew something with backbone.
Option A, keep the tea and become British.
Option B, toss the tea, brew cowboy coffee.
Now know what they chose.
Copies are available in the gift shop.
Isn't history fascinating? I had no idea that Newcastle was so involved in the founding of America. What do you think, Rochelle? Does that check all the boxes for this presentation?
Well, we were actually given a checklist for this presentation, so maybe we should check on that and make sure that we're staying on cue.
Let's take a look.
Okay, so first we have share the story of how Newcastle helped discover America. Did we do that?
I think we covered that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Check. Let's see. Next. Avoid reading directly from slides. Use slides as visual support, not a script.
I think we did that okay.
Close enough.
I think we're fine.
Close
Yeah,
enough.
we're fine. Offer books for sale in the gift shop.
Check. Did that. $10 in the gift shop. Provide an update on development and capital projects. Do we have to do that one?
I think that's why they invited us here.
That's why we're here?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Let's do it.
Development. We would like to thank our town planner, Paul Smith. Couldn't be here today, but most of the projects that you see up here are totally his fault. We blame everything on the planner. Whitehorse Village. This is an area that was approved many years ago for approximately 40 new homes. We expect it's likely to break ground sometime this summer. They'll just kind of do 1 or 2 homes at a time.
Eagles Ridge has completed 8 of their 24 townhomes. They currently have their next set of 8 under construction.
Then we have, this one's interesting, Coal Seam, located on the south side of the Colorado River. The Coal Seam project will bring a 71-room hotel, riverfront restaurant, and employee housing. This project is currently under review from Town Council. We expect it'll work through the process in the next couple months.
Did you hear that, Sil? We're getting a riverfront restaurant too. Sorry. TC Midwest is currently working its way through the review process. Located in Castle Valley Ranch, this proposed subdivision will have approximately 60 new homes.
Located on the north side of Castle Valley Ranch, just above VIX Park, and consisting of 130 townhomes, this neighborhood has completed the land use application process and may break ground sometime in 2026. All right, moving on to capital projects. We would like to thank our Public Works Director, John Wenzel. He was supposed to be here today, but we've got a large project going on. These projects are mostly John's fault. Newcastle Public Works Department completed miles of piping as part of our raw water irrigation project.
As part of the project, crews installed a new pump house, which was designed to supply raw, untreated water to newer incoming communities. This project helps the town save our most valued water rights for potable water.
As part of the same project, our Public Works team installed the pumps and piping for this project.
The team also built a new holding pond. We affectionately call it John Wenzel Pond. Now let's take a quick shift over to the roundabout update. The circle itself is now complete, and now we're moving into the beautification process. And with all due respect to the town of Silt, while we appreciate your offer, we are going to go ahead and build our own roundabout and not adopt a gently used roundabout. But thank you.
Sorry, Jim. Great offer, though, Jim. We appreciate it.
At the heart of the roundabout will stand a coal miner statue facing the mountain in tribute to those who sacrificed their lives and symbolically welcoming residents home.
The entry pillars coming into town will feature Gabion structures filled with natural stone reflecting the character and landscape of our region. Each pillar will display the Newcastle logo and be topped with a lantern, creating a distinctive and welcoming gateway into the community.
Next, we move on to our wastewater treatment plant offices and shop replacement project. Built in the 1960s, this facility only took 4 hours to tear down and dispose of.
And the mice went running. As you may recall, if you were here last year, we casually mentioned borrowing a few design ideas for this project, and all of you people assumed that these drawings were from the town of Fruta. Well, apparently someone here has very fast texting fingers because before we left last year, the Fruita manager already knew about it. Well, good news, folks. We love our friends in Fruita, and we have formally apologized on your behalf for picking on Fruita to the town manager. Sorry, Shannon, they don't know what they're doing.
But in all seriousness, the construction of the new facility is well underway.
Completion of the project is anticipated to be sometime this summer. We'd like to sincerely thank the FMLD and the Board of County Commissioners for their generous support in making these projects possible. We'd also like to thank our terrific Newcastle staff who actually self-performs much of the work that you see here. We don't do a lot of hiring out. Our guys do a lot of this work in-house.
You all remember that from last year. You'll recall that last year, CDOT was starting to replace the Elk Creek Bridge. Well, the slide is happening in just 2 days. Get that toll booth ready, Jim. This creek jumping will become a reality. You know, I think Lewis and Clark probably would have enjoyed this little shortcut.
They would have liked that. Would have gotten them to sell a whole lot faster. So CDOT is going to move the old bridge to create a detour while the new bridge is being constructed. They're actually starting Thursday evening. It'll go through this weekend. So Main Street will be closed. As they take that old historic bridge and they literally slide it over, that becomes the new detour. When that new detour is in place, they're going to build a brand new bridge where the old one used to be and then tear out the old one. Rochelle, that's all I've got for capital projects. Have we now checked all the boxes, given everybody what they need?
We better look. Okay.
So provide an update on development and capital projects?
Yep, did it.
Check. For educational purposes only, show the audience why we love to call Newcastle home. Have we hit on that?
Oh, I don't think we have. We should do that now.
Let's hit on that one.
And hope the technicals are good.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this wave is stringing us along, just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone.
Rochelle. Now have we checked all the boxes?
Well, we have shown the audience why we love to call Newcastle home, but let's double check. Make sure we got everything.
So show audience why we love to call Newcastle home. Anything else?
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties? Going backwards.
There we go. Oh.
Wait, if time allows, have fun with silk. Do we have time?
We have time.
We have time? Okay, if time allows, have fun with silk. Okay. Excuse us one second.
Oh.
Chapter 6. Man, Jim, who broke the Liberty Bell? That's it.
I shall.
Really?
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Great job, you guys. Thanks, Rochelle and Dave, for the update and the history lesson. We appreciate that. All right, everybody, one more round of applause for all of our presenters today. Garfield County, Town of Parachute, Bottomwood Mesa, City of Rifle, the Town of Silt, and the Town of Newcastle. We really appreciate all the creativity and personality you guys bring to these presentations. It really makes what it is, makes it what it is today. Today was informative and a little bit of fun. One more thank you to our sponsors, Alpine Bank and the Town of Silt, for supporting this event. Thank you to Grand River for hosting us and Rifle TV for helping us share this beyond the room. Now, here's what I've figured out in a year at a chamber. This community doesn't always agree. Apparently it never has. It's been through its ups and downs, boom and lean times. You had your fair share of frustrating moments. But what continues to impress me is that you keep showing up. You keep moving forward. You keep pushing even when it's hard. And the chamber is committed to keep moving through that hard stuff too. Over the last couple of years, our team has been focused on rebuilding what made the chamber such a valuable asset for this community for such a long time, and doing it in a way that actually works for the business community today. It hasn't been easy. More than once, it's been accurately described to me as like drinking from a fire hose. But we're here and we're steady. The chamber has gone through some real change. Some of it was planned, some of it wasn't, but all of it forced us to take a hard look at what actually serves the business community and what doesn't. We've spent a lot of time listening, sometimes formally, sometimes in conversations at events just like this, sometimes in phone calls or hallway conversations where you're just being honest. That's what we like to hear. What we heard over and over again was your desire for reliability, for clarity, and for follow-through. So this past year has been about getting the basics right again for you guys. Strengthening our operations, being thoughtful about how we spend money, making sure the chamber is stable enough to show up consistently, not just for big events, but for the everyday work that moves the needle for you guys. We've also focused on being a convener, bringing together people across towns, perspectives, even when you don't agree, because this valley clearly works best when all the conversations stay open and when all of you stay at the table. That is what you can expect from the chamber moving forward. We're doubling down on what's working. We're going to keep showing up for the community, and we'll keep bringing consistency back to the table for our members. Before you head out, one quick reminder about the award nominations on your tables. These awards exist to recognize people and organizations who quietly go above and beyond. If somebody came to mind today, write it down. Don't second guess it. And together we'll celebrate those nominations at our annual awards banquet on April 11th. I'm going to let you go, but one last thing. I want to recognize a couple of people who made today happen from behind the scenes and who keeps the chamber moving forward every day. Please join me in thanking Ashley and Adrian for all of their hard work today. Guys, you did a wonderful job. Thank you. All right. Thank you guys all for being here. This has been wonderful. I can't wait for next year as you've set the bar really high. So get your tickets early. I think it's going to be a good one. Thank you.